Welcome back to Gran Camito in the Pedroche Valley of Andalusia, Spain. I needed a few aerial shots for planning purposes, and so I flew the drone in the afternoon, hence the long shadows, when it was already a little bit cooler. These are only still images of a few areas that were of my interest at the time, but I think I can share them here so that you have an idea how things look like from above. This is quite interesting. Where the horses and sheep did not have access, like the solar panels or to the right, the corral for the calves, there is no plant matter left. They have removed everything by biting every little piece. And to the left, between the trees, there were a little bit more growth than here in that flat area, and so there is a little bit left. But that is what happens. We don't mind that they totally overgraze this area because we have other plans for it. But it is a very good image of what will happen when you let the animals overgraze. Here you have an aerial image of the wannabe food forest. Whatever is green has either very deep roots and is able to tap into the water that probably now sits at 3 meters depth, or has received some form of irrigation. The Paulownia and Bermuda grass experiment is clearly visible left of the yurt, and to the right of the yurt you can see what wants to become a pond, but it's completely dry. Left of the old cortijo you can see the green vetiver. It receives a little bit of irrigation here and then. Below and left of the blue roof you can see where we planted the remaining Paulownia trees, and see that mix of different species, see the last video. The area right of the shade-giving oak trees will see construction in the future.
So here's a challenge. As you can see, this water level here, it is our greywater pond, is pretty low. We do not have enough greywater to keep it filled. So one time we used the pipe that you can see there to fill it up, and the system is not really working as intended, because it's a greywater pond and we should not be filling up with fresh water. So that's one part. And here is the second part, because the water level is very low, it is not overflowing. So here is that outflow, and it was supposed to be flowing into the old greywater trench that was going along here, lined with vetiver left and right, to provide water also to this peach tree and also to the one there at the very end, and it does not. Unless we open a hose, unless we open a valve and let fresh water from the well come into here, which we did in order to stimulate a little bit of growth of the vetiver and also to keep these trees alive. The one here to the right decided to shed most of its leaves, because it's a peach tree and it requires a little bit more moisture than this African tree that we have down there. So all that is a problem. Of course, this place here has very little shade, because only there are a few fruit trees, and most of the support species are missing, unfortunately. We need to add them quickly, but all in all, what I think is we need a lot more shade and basically avoid any kind of evaporation that is possible by using plants that are C4 and therefore have a lot less problem with evaporation and water use than all the other C3 plants. Vetiver is a C4, the Paulownia trees are also C4. And for those not familiar, I am talking about C3 and C4 photosynthesis. And C4 is a lot more efficient, and a lot of heat-loving plants are C4. So this system here is broken, and we need to add a lot more to make it functional in the case of half rainfall like we had this year. Because last year that was not an issue, but last year we also did not have this greywater pond here. So our greywater was always going directly into the trench. So now we made a modification and had half of the rain, so it became more severe. Something to think about. And just I mentioned these. Here are the Paulownias. As you can see, they are now a little bit taller than the fence. And we are still in summer. So I expect them to certainly grow at least 30, 40, maybe 50 centimeters more. And then we will see how that continues. They will shed their leaves in autumn. So that gives the biomass for the soil. And next year they continue to grow. And I can also show you that the Bermuda grass that we seeded here is conquering the place. Here and there, when there is something like that one here, I try to pull it out just to regulate a little bit what grows here. Interesting is also the shape of these trees. So let me show you here in this area where we have a few together. So they are basically occupying a certain space, and for the Miyawaki forest we need to consider this, I think. So the idea is in that space there should be a lot more other trees, but then you can also see that at the bottom the Paulownia shades everything out. So there nothing will grow, but here in that sunny spot there the others can grow. So this is a support species, as we now learned, and we can use it as such, but we need to give it its room because it has so big leaves.